garden friends on this cool spring evening. It's about 5:30 and I thought it would be so nice to do a mid-March garden tour because the garden is coming alive. And not only my trees, my bulbs, some of my shrubs are just letting me know that spring is here. So come along with me while I show you the transformation, the paint strokes that spring is bringing to my garden. All right, so we're gonna start over here in the back corner of my garden. Guys, look at my Crabapple Perfusion. Oh my gosh, we planted 5 of these trees throughout our garden. And as you know, my yard is full sun. And what I'm trying to do is create some shade in my garden, more so for my plants. Because when we bought the house in 2016, these 4 crepe myrtles are the only trees that were in our yard. And with the layout of my garden, I really need to create some shade. Look at those flowers. I so love it. And they initially start off in this deep pink color and then get these delicate pink with white center flowers on it. And then what happens is these will end up getting red berries on them. They're not the crab apples that you eat. It is the more or less ornamental. So, like I said, I have 5 of these in my yard and it just screams spring is upon us. The next tree is my tea olive tree. And guys, if you could smell the fragrance that these little white flowers give off, and then look at all the new growth that is on here, it just brings so much joy and excitement about what spring and summer is going to bring for my garden. And because I was wanting to have some winter interest in my garden, this is a Christmas jewel holly. It has the berries on it, but as you can see, it gets these pretty little white plumes on it in the springtime. And then I'm quite sure those will also turn into berries. And then, as you guys know, we just planted our daffodil willows and they have grown since we've planted them. And it's been more of the new flush of the leaves on it. Look at the pink and the variegated leaves on this. This is just so beautiful. And the fact that it'll get 8 to 10 foot tall, and the way that ends up cascading is going to look absolutely gorgeous. And then those are some of the other Crabapple Perfusions we planted. Look at that. I can't wait until they get full size and just be showcase pieces in the garden. And one of my pride and joy in my garden is my beautiful Magnolia Jane. She is just so breathtaking. All right, so let's start talking about the bulbs. These are the daffodil bulbs that I got from Color Blend. These were like the first ones that come up, so they're sort of dying back, but they still are gorgeous. Sorry about my shadow. And then I still got more daffodils coming up there, and I believe those ones back there in the corner are my Sir Winston Churchills. And then look at these guys. I'm gonna put the names up of them because I did not tag them when I planted them. Look at that. Isn't that just gorgeous? And I'm loving that I did the naturalizing layout to where they just pop up throughout my garden. Look at that. And then my candy tuft, which is also a spring bloom. And these guys were propagated. I had to thin them out from my area that I'm going to show you where my little limelight was. And then my sassafras, I think I'm saying that right, just that soft pink color, but I end up cutting them down, and as long as the weather stays pretty cool, I'll end up getting another flush. But yeah, everything is just coming alive. Look at the hydrangeas, my limelights leafing out. These guys here are my lime primes that come out pink initially. And that's part of the reason why I wanted the Crabapple Perfusions to, once they get the height that they're supposed to, will provide some filtered shade in the garden. But look at these guys. Oh, and look at my phlox. My phlox is taking off. This had nothing on it. And look at the pretty pink flowers that are coming through. And then, like I said, I'll put the names of these daffodils up that are doing so well. Everything is just coming alive. Oh, looky here. My rose bush already has buds on it. I'm so excited about those guys. I think these are the kings daffodils. And then my bearded irises are looking fantastic. You know, when I first got these, I had only maybe had like a couple come up, but found that when I thin them out, I get more. And then it's a mixed color because I think the next flush will end up being purple. But yeah, I love the fact that the daffodils are coming up in different stages to where I have those pops of color. There's some TTs right there that are coming up. They're so tiny and cute. But everything is looking so nicely. These are some more of the kings here. Oh, and look here. My spiderwort is starting to bloom. You know, a lot of people say as far as it being an invasive plant, my thing is just sit them out. And then you stay on top of them, keep them under control to where they don't end up taking over. And then in between my daffodils there, that is a coneflower. The coneflower. And then those tall, spiky plants back there are my yellow flag irises. And guys, wait till you see how beautiful those flowers end up being. And it actually gets almost as tall as my window boxes. But yeah, just more of my daffodils. My yarrow is looking nice and healthy. And then my other hydrangeas are starting to swell up. Those are my quick fires. And then this one here and that one there is my mini mauvet. And then look at the spikes for my irises. Those are purple. Now, while I lost one of, the 4 of my Chinese fringe shrubs, this is the reason why I love them so much and was disappointed that I was not able to transplant it. But this is absolutely gorgeous, and how it's striking against the white candy tuft. And this is the area that I had thinned out to start having it do the same thing on the wall. But doesn't that look so pretty? I trim it back when it ends up touching the ground so I can keep it well managed. Some more of my daffodils. Oh my God, this smells so good over here. And I love, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like triple layered of these daffodils. Those are just gorgeous. That here, right there, is my plumbago. I did not think it was coming back, but it came back with a fury. And my butterfly bushes are doing well. And like I said, that's spring letting us know it's ready. It's ready, even though we're supposed to be getting some cold weather. But look at this, guys, back here. These white daffodils. They are just so pretty, and like I said, I am so glad that I did more of the naturalizing, because then I just love how they just are popping up throughout the yard. And then my forsythia. Now, the forsythia blooms before the greenery. So it bloomed, but you can still see a little bit of the yellow flowers, and this thing was covered with it. And look at those, oh my God. Those are just so beautiful. Oh, and then I have Chinese amenities coming up here. So that way when the daffodils start to die back, those guys get big enough to camouflage that. But yes, everything is looking amazing. These are more daffodils. Look how dainty these guys are. Oh my God, they are just too cute. And then I gotta see, oh yes, my one, I actually have 4 back here. My peonies is popping up. But yeah, I have 4 of them in the location back here. Then my bachelor buttons, those are my tried and true, to where I will always have these in my garden. And even with the frost that we had, these guys still survived. And then there is my autumn joy sedum. And one of the things that I'm gonna do this weekend, don't know if you guys know this, you know how once the flower gets on there, they will sometimes separate from the center? But what you do is you go down in here and break off a piece of it and like stagger it to where it ends up getting really full in the center, and then it provides that support for them. So that's one thing that I'm gonna do this weekend, is to get this done. And then this is the thing, do not throw these away. Take those leaves off that are at the base, stick it in the ground, and you will have yourself a brand new plant. So that's where a lot of my autumn joy sedums. I had one and got a clipping and just started clipping them, and they ended up doing beautiful. And then look at this, guys, just this fiery red burgundy color of my Sprea. I have two of them over flanking this bed with my other lime prime and my limelight hydrangea right there. And then, oh, it looks like I need to deadhead some of these vernaculars. Now, these were given to me. A garden friend had saw my unsuccessfulness with my sprouting, and she brought these over to me. And look at my hostas are popping up, which I have lining this entire bed. And this is the thing, this area gets morning sun, and then usually about 12:30, 1 o'clock, the sun is on the other side. Here's another one of my little garden beds. Oh yeah, I have to go ahead this weekend and make sure I clip down the autumn joy sedum, because these guys are doing exceptional for as early as we are in the season. And then my Nico is doing well. This is the first time that I have had a Nico. My garden friend had given me some clippings that ended up propagating, and it is doing really, really well. Now we're supposed to have a couple of days of freezing. I'm going to make a point of covering these guys up. And then this one here, this azalea, looks like it got buds on it that are ready to burst. And more the daffodils. Oh, I just so love how those are just poking out within my garden bed. That's why I don't know if I could graduate to the clusters. That's why I don't know if I could graduate to the clusters, because I just love how this looks. And as you guys know, love me some roses. So these guys are doing really well, and all except for one, which I think is this one. All of these were propagated from a stick that I ended up growing. And then I so love my coral sedum. We had that frost, and you see how it did. Hoping that, you know, when the warmer weather gets here, it'll bounce back, because I'm seeing, you know, some new growth coming in here. But I just so love this, and the thought process is I want this whole area just covered with it. Ooh, there's some weeds back there. Gotta get those guys. And I just so love this view of the garden. And then my vegetable garden. We'll go over there so we can see the plants that I have in front of the vegetable garden. Everything is just coming alive. My roses, my hydrangeas, even my sunshine ligustrum. And I have 5 of those throughout my garden. And then this area over here, which is my rose and hydrangea garden. I got some daffodils that are late bloomers, but they're coming up. That's just another vernacular that a friend had given me. My Weigelia is starting to put on some leaves. Those actually end up looking so gorgeous with the burgundy flowers on them. But yeah, just everything looking nice. Oh, okay, so like I said, we had planted 5 of the Crabapple Perfusion. So I got one here and one here to act as a shade, or filter I should say, for the garden, these gardens behind me. And these guys, this area is looking really, really nice. My rose back there in that bucket, or that rose back in that pot, is a thornless rose, and it gets white. And I didn't always have it here, but it's seeming to love its life here. And then look at my clematis. Isn't that gorgeous? I was gonna cut it down because I was watching Laura from Garden Answer, and I watched her cut hers all the way down to the ground, and I thought, oh man, I better go out here and get this cut. And when I came out here and saw all the new shoots, I'm like, oh, leave that alone. And someone had told me that there are clematises that grow on both new and old wood. My gladdies are coming up over here. My Helen Von Steen, man, I just love that. It's looking so good. That's an endless summer. I got 2 of those guys in here, and then my Garo, and then I believe these here are Sir Winston Churchill's. I got some over here that's up. And guys, if you could smell the fragrance of these, it is just amazing. My garden friend got me hooked on them, and I'm hooked, and I just so love their little dainty fragrant flowers. I just look so pretty. That's what they look like before they open up. But everything is looking good. I so love my planters. You know, I normally don't cram, but I'm sort of liking it. As you can see, I normally don't cram. And then my cute little sassafrans, I think they're called. And then guys, look here. My snapdragons are blooming. Look how gorgeous those guys are. I need to sit you up there. It's kind of windy today with my Lenten rose, and then this is just filled with buds ready to burst open. And then the other side, you know, as you know, mimicked, but got more daffodils coming up. Oh, and I almost forgot. Okay, guys, one of the suggestions was that I either paint my settee set all white or do a whitewash. So I did a combination of both. I ended up whitewashing the chairs, and then just threw some outdoor pillows that had roses on them. Thank you so very much, Kim, for the recommendation. And I think Gary was the other individual that had mentioned about painting them white. You know, I so love getting input from you guys. All right, so I got some more daffodil bulbs in here. These are like late bloomers. I have some cone flowers back there. My rose bush is doing well. This is like a salmon color, so that is gonna look so nice. Those are some daylilies that I got from my garden friend. And then guys, this is something that I'm like so excited about. My wisteria. Look at it. The buds are coming through. This is gonna end up looking so nice, flanking both sides of the garden shed. But this pretty much mimicked on the other side too. So let's go on into the garden, the vegetable garden. I ain't got much going on. My one friend had given me some cabbage. I come out here the other day, filled with aphids, but look at my Brussels sprouts. I have Brussels sprouts. That's going on here. So I'm happy about that. That I might end up getting something. And then my spearmint And then that is my rosemary. Now, I did plant some California soft garlic in here. I think I got about 14 in here. My onions are doing well. I got both white and red onions. So I'm happy about that. We're gonna be getting some more plants, vegetables, because my hand at starting them from seed didn't do too well. And part of the reason why was I did something different this year. I started them in the greenhouse, and I probably shouldn't. So I know next year I will do them in the house and then bring them out into the greenhouse when the weather ends up breaking. All right, and then this is the back area of the fence of the garden. My hostas are coming up. That right there is Garo. More lambs here. And guys, listen, I don't know what this is. I think it's a weed, but it gets such a pretty flower on it. I just couldn't bring myself to pull it out. And I thought, you know what, leave it in there. We'll see how it does. And it's actually come back with a fury. But like I said, it's a pretty flower on it. But yeah, just when you look down in the garden, it just looks so peaceful and nice to be able to see how everything is coming along. And then look at this view. I so love that. That's so pretty. And then guys, when my crepe myrtles come into full-fledged bloom, oh, it's just amazing. Oh yeah, one more thing, garden friends. If you haven't noticed, we got the fence finished painted in the backyard. And now I'm trying to figure out what, if anything, I need to do. Now, mind you, most of my plants that are up against the fence, once they get to full maturity, they get about a good 6-7 feet tall. And I was just trying to determine whether or not I need to put anything on this fence, because if you look over on the shorter end of the fence, I so love my little window boxes, and they just pop against the black fence. So if you have any recommendations for me to do nothing or something on the back fence, go ahead and hit me up in the comments. Well, garden friends, I hope you enjoyed seeing my mid-March back garden tour. When I sit here and I see how well everything is doing, it just lets me know that nature is doing what it's supposed to do as we assist it in seeing our garden flourish. It makes it all worth it. So thank you again for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner. And if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing, and I look forward to you checking out my next video.